Yeah.
You see the back of it? I've never seen the back of it. Look at that. I've never seen the back of it. It's something you don't ever see. You know.
Okay, it is now 6. The Monroe County Animal Management Commission meeting for July 2022. We have a number of items to go through, so we're going to try and get it straight, get back in camp. One, I appreciate everybody showing up to make it easier for us, and because of the recording situation. We really need to try to abide by one person talking at a time, part of the echoes in here. So we can do that. Please address anything you need to be saying to us, and not to each other. If there's an issue there, just address it to us. And if anything you would like to say that's appropriate, it's perfectly fine. I'd like to have you try to stay in a 5-minute time frame, just because we have so many people and so many items we have to go through tonight. So if you would be kind enough to do that, I would appreciate it. I'm going to go around the room. I am Matt Collar. I am the president of the board for this year.
I'm Ken Buzzard. I'm on the commission appointed by the county commission, just a regular citizen member of the county.
I should say I also am appointed by the county as an average Joe.
I'm Virgil Sauter. I'm the Director of Animal Care and Control for the city.
Valerie Pena, I am appointed by the mayor's office.
I'm Catherine Watson. I'm a veterinarian appointed by the commissioners.
I'm Russell Brummett, Chief Deputy Monroe County Sheriff's Office.
I'm Lisa Richard. I'm taking the minutes tonight for the meeting.
David List, Animal Management Officer, Monroe County Sheriff's Office.
Okay, thank you, everyone. So I'm sorry. Lee. Introduce yourself, Lee. Introduce yourself. There you go.
All right, I didn't understand you. Lee Baker, County Attorney.
Thank you. I forgot you were there, and my apologies. Okay, the first item on the agenda for this meeting is the approval of last month's meeting. Did anybody see any corrections or issues that needed to be dealt with? I'm not hearing any, so do I have a
I'll make a motion to approve the June 2022 minutes.
second? Thank you, Valerie, Russell, for the approval of your motion. All those in favor of the approval of the minutes as they stand? Aye.
Aye.
Ken, aye. Everybody, was there anybody not? Okay. So unanimous, Russell, Catherine, Valerie, Virgil, and myself. Ken. Thank you. I should have gone in my name. I apologize. I need to do that. First item on the agenda under new business is Langley appeal. Who is here for Langley? Okay, if you would mind, yes, that would be appreciated. And again, please to us.
Have the officer first.
And the officer, or whoever it is, can you start us off on the case?
I guess it's just still the citations that's been written the last couple. Both have proved evidence of Jenny with his kid in the neighbor's yard. citation for at-large livestock.
During a prior history of,
Yes,
okay,
I'd have to look back through the records, but so if it's just filling citations, those citations were
okay,
proven.
all right. Anything else you need to add? Okay.
I
Please.
have a question.
Oh, sure, I'm sorry.
So the tickets were for at-large and public nuisance, the public nuisance just based on the repeated offense, or was there damage to
The-
property as well?
Reported damage to the property and fencing.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the officer? Okay, now,
Well, first, if there's a claim of video, then I want to see the video. He can't just walk in there and say there's video and then not show video. Do you have the video?
Yep.
Let's see it.
What else you got going on?
is there anything else you'd like? to
Yes,
add?
sir. Well, I never was even given a warning citation. And then this one, the first one, I found just in my mailbox. Now, when he issued this one the last time on May 16th, he claims it was the third citation that I've gotten, which is amounts to $600, and it is not. 1, 2, there is no 3. So this is null and void because he lied. He didn't take any steps to talk to me other than to come back and tell him I'm big. And then I don't deny that she got out. I even went up there, the guy claimed she tore up the gate. I wanted to see the gate that she tore up. He said, oh, he done fixed it, which it wasn't even much of a gate, but I gave the dude a $100 bill just for the hell of it. Here, in case the big did. Now, on 2 occasions, I left home 5 minutes later. I don't even know the guy's name. He's my neighbor and I don't even know his name right now. Anyway, he called me 5 minutes after I left, said my pig was up in his yard. And he was a liar because the pig was locked inside of my garage. She even ate the damn wires off the furnace that day, so that wasn't a very good choice. And then he done it the second time. He called me right after he seen me leave the house and claimed the pig was in his yard. And he said he took a stick and hit her and ran her home. I said, it's impossible because she's locked in the garage. It was before I just got her and before I had a good pen built for her. Matter of fact, she was staying in the house with me. So I rushed back home. Nope, she's still in the garage. I took a picture of it and no, he's like, well, I seen something white running down the trail because there's woods between us. Which is it? Did you hit her on the head or on the butt with a stick? Pardon my language.
Excuse me, sir, are you talking that this happened this last time with this ticket or this?
No, I'm
happened
talking about through this whole ordeal that I've been going
Okay.
through with this guy over my pig. You know, so now she was secure, she's happily in her pen, she's just fine. But for him to lie and say he gave me 3 citations, that's number 1. The guy that's making these claims is a liar. That's number 2, because on 2 occasions, he called me right after he seen me leave my home and tell me my pig was up there, when I know she wasn't, because I had her locked in my garage, which there is no way in or out for her unless somebody opens the door and lets her out. Which when I turned around and ran back home, she was still there in the garage.
So, Mr. Ryan, let's take these one at a time. The first issue is whether or not there are 3 citations. Okay. You've got to, we'll check the records to see, because each citation has a unique identifying number. And we'll check to see if it was ever issued. If it was issued and you didn't receive it, we can discuss that.
Yeah.
But you've got the 2. So I wouldn't necessarily conclude that someone was lying or trying to set you up by claiming there were 3 citations when you only received 2. There may actually have been 3 and one may not have found the 2.
Well, I might
So, well, it's
add,
okay. We'll
okay, that's one other thing, and there was one occasion I went down to take care of her, and that morning she had gotten out, so I went looking for her. I tried to call him, it was on Saturday morning. I actually got a hold of this gentleman. He's like, oh, well, yes, there was a report of a sighting of the pig on May Road. And when he knew in fact that the guy had her tied up in the most inhumane way, ropes wrapped around her neck and literally hog tied the hog. And I went up there in the yard and I went in the chicken pen and got her back. But he knew she was there and he refused to tell me she was there.
While Officer West is looking for the video, we were given a copy of this photograph, which is taken from a video, which is
That's going to
dated,
be what I'm certain.
which is dated, May 15th, which is the day before the
I
citation.
ain't telling what damage she's doing.
So,
You
but
know, that's his big thing, that she's doing all this damage, and she's not damaging anything.
That's fine, yeah, is that your thing?
Well, from what I can see, I mean, I'm not one of the neighbors who's got one, so I
Is it-
would have to
So
say.
is that in your garage? Because it looks like it's outside.
No, I'm not denying the fact that she at times had gone up there.
I'm forgetting, but it sounds like you were arguing that on the date in
I'm
question.
just arguing that the guy is a liar about the property damage that she's claiming this pig do.
I understand.
And, I'm asking you to-
That's my argument.
You know,
Because, you know-
deal with what we have here. Okay, I'm not trying to
Mitigate.
negate. Yeah, my mouth is flat.
That's all.
So if you have nothing else right now, if he's ready.
No,
I'm not at this second, but
oh,
you say 3 citations. Do I need to show
you
you how to read that?
claim street citations. you
Where
know,
does it say the third citation?
You told me this was my third citation.
No, it says on there ×3.
That's right.
You are being
Third time.
fined at large D, which is $100 ×3, because it's your second or subsequent offense.
Okay, here.
So that is the
There's the
×3.
third
No, that's the first one.
one.
You can see here, that's an E, which is a $25 fine. The D is a $100 fine, totaling $125. The D is ×3, which is $300, because it is second or subsequent
He
offense.
told me, when he brought this to me, he told me this is my third citation,
No,
it was
he
gonna
didn't.
cost me $600. That's his exact word, what he said when he gave me
How
that
did you
citation.
get the property? He filed for the fence?
No, she got out of my fence and walked through the
So
woods.
she had to do some kind of damage to that fence.
There is no fence, other than the fence that was her fence, is the only fence that she damaged.
So
If you want, if you have a.
I do, I'm going to have to connect to my desktop in the office to do it.
It's fine, if you're not able to.
So I don't know if you want to revisit that, take correction just for a minute, give us time for, if you just want to wait a few minutes.
And
We might,
who you have questions for the gentleman right now, so we can continue to.
so we're not questioning, did you pick out a name? I hate referring to her
Yeah,
as.
Betty Bacon,
Benny.
she's a real
May
handball.
I call Benny?
Yeah,
Benny, okay. So we're not disputing, we've got the photographic evidence, we're not disputing that Benny was out.
I don't dispute Betty.
We're disputing whether there was damage.
And whether damage, right, and I took the man at his word, and we're not close, we're not neighborly like that. But I took the man at his word, and I went up there and gave him $100. Here you go, oh, I don't want your money, and, you know, and all that, and then all of a sudden he's claiming my pigs up there tearing up his $350 gate, and the pigs locked in the garage.
The county doesn't want your money.
Huh?
The county doesn't want your money either. There's a fine here, but the fine is intended to try to discourage people from breaking the rules. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to find a solution. So we're trying to-
Well, she's secured now, here,
No, I trust it.
she is, well secured. Gentleman, and
Since,
quite some time, since perhaps even that
what was,
last one.
Mr. Langley, if I may ask you, you've got two physical citations. What was the date of the first of this two? Because the second one I know is this one.
February 8th,
Okay, so 3 months apart,
yes.
90 days. That's what I'm thinking. If Benny can be secured and won't be getting out and we won't have any more reports for another 90 days, then I'd recommend, the citation's going away. If we do have a documented violation in 90 days, then that plus these will come back. And we can discuss at that point whether there was damage or we do know that she was at large.
So
But we can't just,
Man, bro, she's there.
Down there with this thing.
There's her enclosure, there's her house, that big old shed she lives in.
Okay. Is this the enclosure that she escaped from, or is this a new one?
That's the one, well, it's been improved, it's the same enclosure, but it's been improved, I put up different type of fencing.
Okay,
I even put in a big, steel gate.
so you improved the front fencing quality, you improved the gate quality.
Right.
What else have you?
Well, and secured, because she kept getting under the fence.
Okay,
So we was trying to shore her up with all them blocks, you see them still kind of in there. So we tried to shore it up, but she just knocked them blocks.
Pigs are good.
So then I figured I took some dowel rods and drove them into the ground, towed the fence down. That stopped her from getting out.
Thank you.
It's my first pig, you know, I've been around them since about 12, 13 years old on the homestead, you know. So-
Pigs and goats are great at finding ways to get out of enclosures.
Oh, see, great.
This is the February 8th video. Your pig,
Yeah,
his chicken coop
yeah,
on his property.
okay. I don't, you know,
That's the May picture, shows the same area on his property.
but I'm not seeing any damage. She's supposed to be over there rooting up his tulips. She was rooting up his
That citation
ginseng
is
bed.
not for damage, it's for being nuisance.
I'm telling you what he said. You even come up and told me that she was up there rooting up his ginseng.
Hold on.
I don't like people lying on me.
I understand, but that's the problem with that, you know.
I'll go with your proposal, what you said. No more violations.
What we need to do right now is if there are any other immediate questions.
So
Valerie,
are we addressing the May ticket or the February ticket or both? We're doing both.
The bill was just for this latest ticket.
I was gonna say, I only have a
Yep,
picture of the
it's just the
latest.
latest ticket. Okay. It's not both.
That's the reason why I'm
Russell,
confused. I only have the latest ticket.
you look like you were studying.
So the latest ticket, I just want to make sure I understand, we have that the pig was a public nuisance and then it was the at-large. So the ×3 is because of it being a second violation.
Correct.
Okay.
You're
So-
tripling the fines now, saying it's a
That's
third
That
violation.
the second violation triples the fine. So we can obviously see that the pig was at large because it's out and we have video on it and a photograph. What seems to be in question is public nuisance is being considered because of the damage, correct?
Damage combo continues to come to his property.
Okay, so those two things. Do we have the neighbor here for chance?
I was gonna
Get a
ask
chance to
that in a
speak?
minute,
Okay,
if we
so
have
there's
anybody
no
else
other-
additional. We have no one else. Okay, thank you.
Did you get a picture of damage? Listen, honey, he lied. the guy.
Sir, just let us discuss.
All right.
So we're not questioning at large, there is question about public nuisance. I'd be willing to entertain like a compromise where we dismiss the public nuisance, but uphold the at large. And so I guess I'm making a motion since I've got people already saying it. I would move that we dismiss the public nuisance and uphold the at large for both citations. Actually, we're not even considering the first
It's
citation.
just that one.
So basically, we would have the fine, and that would close the matter.
Ken made the motion, do I have an official second?
Second.
With that Russell? Thank you.
Yeah, that's Russell.
I just can't say well enough, I know that. We have that. Any further discussion on the motion at the moment? Having here none, I will do the roll call. Ken?
Aye.
Aye, Matt. Virgil?
Aye.
Valerie?
Aye.
Catherine?
Um,
Russell?
Aye.
Any nays? No abstention? Having heard that, the motion has been carried unanimously to, as Ken has stated. If you'd like to restate it, you may do so.
We uphold the at-large violation, because the pig was at large.
Well, he first proposed to let it ride for 6 months and then bring it back up if there's no other violations in 6 months. Why can't we go with his?
We discussed that, but that wasn't the motion that we voted on. What we voted on was to give you the benefit of the doubt and dismiss the public nuisance, since we don't have any concrete evidence that there having been any damage to neighbor's property. But we do have evidence of habitual escaping by your pig onto your neighbor's property and the pig being at large. So we have upheld. So basically, we've complimented them halfway. We've dismissed half of the citations and pulled them the other back.
Now you make yourselves halfway, you didn't make me halfway.
Well,
But, okay, so what? What is it now?
Okay, but that's what we've decided, and at this point, if you have a problem with that, you may call legal department office.
I went
During
on,
legal
I'm
hearing.
over
Let me complete it. During normal business hours, just call them and they will discuss the matter further with you,
here. All right, then.
okay?
you also, I believe you also make appeal this to the courts as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's part of what you will.
well, those will be a little more of a universal thing, but apparently not, so. Are we done? What is the price on this thing?
We're not the last step.
What?
At half of 6 is 300.
If you got it. I'll be appealing it.
Thank you.
Yeah. See what's up against. Terry,
You're welcome to stick around.
yeah. I'll do that.
Okay, the next matter on the agenda is potentially dangerous land. Who do we have for this matter? Okay, since you were not here, I am going to reiterate what our policy is, our rules. It's not hard, just directly to us, because we are recording and the echoes and everything, we're trying to keep it to a person, one person speaking at a time, partly for record purposes. And if you can keep it as direct and concise as you can, so we appreciate it if we have a large number of items tonight.
Okay,
We try to hold it to 5, but if it has to be, of course, you've seen how we're doing this. So the first way we do this is the officer, whoever, which one of you that is, go tell us what they need to tell us. Which one of you is it?
That would be me.
Okay. Please, please.
I have a motion, unless I'm incorrect on this, Officer Vest, the Flynn and King cases are both the same incidents, but two different calls, two different orders. I would propose that because it is the same incident, we go ahead and hear them at the same time simultaneously. That would be my,
I'm certainly going to do that.
do we?
My apologies,
Second.
I didn't realize they were. connected. My apologies.
that's okay.
Give me a second, I got a second.
We got a second.
I haven't heard that. If I hear the motion, hear them together. Any discussion? Can we?
I don't think we need a roll call because we're all physically present. So we are.
Well, we need the motion, is it not?
I don't think we need a roll call. I think we just call. I don't think we need to call this individual.
Oh, right, I see what you're saying. I'm fine. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, unanimous, whatever we got, I'm sorry. So again, let's do one at a time. Again, let's start the officer, please.
Pretty simple. I got a call out that two dogs got into a chicken coop, killed some chickens. Found out the dogs belong to Miss Flynn, Mr. King. So just through protocol, this is where we are.
How do you prove the dogs were
I sent pictures to them. Right.
there?
Yes, I didn't get one, but you did, so I can see the evidence.
Okay, any other questions of the officer at this time from this board? Okay, whichever one of you would like to speak first, please do.
I think I'll just go.
Okay, that'd be
But sure, I've
fine.
been through this before. I have a couple questions. I didn't get to talk to you. And you were the one. I was just curious, how fresh of a kill it was. Very fresh.
Yeah, I was out there within an hour.
Okay. That was just one of my questions, because I did happen to see a picture from them, and I really didn't, when I talked to you. Second thing is, I don't know if you know what kind of dogs these are and what they're bred for. And I'm gonna speak for both of us, but where we got these dogs, because they're both the same kind.
They're all brethren.
Yes, and so they are bred to protect, and they grew up with goats running free, guineas running free, peacocks, turkeys, chickens, all of these things running free. I'm not saying the picture is real, it was there, I just kind of questioned, did something else get in there? And then they went in to get the fresh kill, or, you know, I don't know if they really killed them, because they have these goats and these chickens and
All of
all this
all
stuff.
of our chickens and stuff, free range, and we've
Are
got
free range.
pictures of the dogs,
One at a
if you'd
time.
like to look at them.
So we can
We got
do-
pictures of the dogs.
Okay, one at a time.
I'm sorry.
So anyway, they have these, and of course, you know, sharing property next to each other, they, you know, run within that. And not had any issues with them killing any of theirs. That's why I just kind of, I'm not saying it didn't happen, I'm not saying, you know, anything's always possible. But it didn't happen, it hasn't happened on their property with their chickens or anything, and so that was just kind of my question. But secondly, I need to tell you that I returned my 2 dogs to the owner to take them, and I took them back. I do not know at this time if I'm gonna take them back. I don't have an adequate fenced in area. I don't feel for these dogs. I don't want them in a 12 by 12 little cubicle. That's not what they were bred for. That's not what they were meant for. And that's inhumane, in my opinion. So I returned them back to her 150-acre farm with that. Not had any problems since then. They've not killed anything down there. And she has, like I said, peacocks, turkeys, chickens, guineas, and everything. So I guess that's really all I have to say.
I have one question since you brought it up. How do we know we have eyewitnesses that saw the dogs attack? Or-
The owners of the chickens said that they saw the dogs, they saw them at the pen, one inside the pen. Maybe by the time they got the pictures, the dogs were already exiting, they're leaving. I didn't see them in the pen. I can't tell you 100%. I didn't see the dogs. I didn't find the dogs whenever I was
So
out there.
the owner of the chickens said.
Yes, so they're.
And-
Okay. that's-
And I'm not saying that they weren't in there or anything like that. I'm just saying a fox, we are inundated with all these sorts of killing animals in our area. I'm not saying that a fox didn't slide in, they didn't smell the fresh kill, and they went in after it. That's just my question, because of our experience with them and where they came from. You know, if they had never been around them or intermingled with them or before, I wouldn't even think that. But that's just really all I had to say. That was just my.
Are there other dogs off leash and at large in that area that you see often, or?
Not often, no. I would not say there's anyone that's often or habitual or repetitive.
Thank you. I guess we will have. Does anyone have, or do you have?
I've got a question, but let me make sure I understand. So according to the report here, Sophie is your dog?
Yes,
Okay, and Sophie is the dog that you've since surrendered back to?
I had 2 dogs.
Mhm.
I had a male and a female. And
But only Sophie is the one that is being
yes,
considered.
our 2 girls were the little
And Lova is the.
Lola.
Lola.
The 2 girls were the ones that were the perpetrators.
So
They're left.
these 2 girls went off, killed the chickens. You since surrendered Sophie, you no longer have Sophie.
I don't have either one of mine.
Okay.
Right, or Sophie, because I guess I'm only on Sophie.
Okay.
Right, that is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anyone directly for?
The first incident you had with the.
Yes, like I said, the dogs were not there whenever I arrived. Again, it was within an hour. I can't say for sure that the dogs actually did this. All I know is what I was told and the pictures I was provided.
I got a motion for Ray.
Okay. If you would like to speak.
Well, as Ms. Flynn said, the dogs, the whole purpose we bought the dog was to be livestock guardians. It's hard for them to do their job in a cage. Granted, now, they look really big, but they're just puppies. And at the time of this incident, they're only 5 months old. So we hadn't got the rabies shots and stuff yet because Petco won't do it until they're 6 months. So at any rate, one of those pictures shows the kennel. It's 20 by It's 20 foot wide by like 60 foot long, 6 foot tall chain link, and the little booger would climb the fence and stand on top and jump out. So it's not like we weren't trying to keep them contained and they got out, they're puppies. But, and I agree with her, I'm not sure, so sure that something else didn't possibly kill the chickens, that's up in the air. But, because these dogs, they will, anything dead, they will find it, and they'll bring it to your front porch like a kitten, or like a cat. But, like I said, once again, they're just puppies, and we're trying our best to train them. They came from a large farm, and they free ranged, and that's their job, and they're so young right now, they're still learning. Now, when they were on that farm, they were with their parents, and their parents were teaching them what their job was and correcting them. So now it's our job, and so we're still in training mode, but.
And with this dog, it's not, if you've read anything on them, it's not uncommon, usually most puppy stages 6 months to the year. With these dogs, they can lose their brain up to 2 years and do something that they haven't done for months. And just revert back to bad behaviors, like such as jumping and walking fence lines. I mean, just all sorts of things are out there for knowledge, and, all of a sudden, they just revert back, and it's like, it seems like the 2 year mark is their point of really being, I guess, the
Mature.
adult and knowing better.
So to try to put a ribbon on why we're here, we've been asked to consider whether or not to declare both dogs at the time of the citation was written potentially dangerous or not. And because we're talking about an incident where livestock was lost, there would be a potentially dangerous level 2 declaration. All we're considering is whether or not to declare the dogs potentially dangerous level 2 and what the consequences to the owners would be.
Correct.
Many of the consequences aren't a big deal because you've already got an enclosure and we're working at making certain that the dogs are kept inside. The rules are, if the dogs are declared PD2, we have to wait.
I was gonna make sure we had all questions and we can do that. You have any other additional question?
No, go ahead and run it.
Go ahead.
Okay, that's okay. We, on your property, they have to be if they're outdoors on your property, they have to be in a secure enclosure that they can't get out. So we've got most of that, except that you can't get out of the park, which we'll figure out. Do you take them off property ever? And if so, they have to be on a leash. Which,
Yeah, we took them, obviously, to Petco to get their shots.
yeah, and the leash has to be under the control of an adult, not a kid. So that's the only other 3 requirements would be the dogs must be altered, neutered, have to be microchipped if they aren't already, and actually the alteration can be waived by us in certain cases, but for PD2, alteration and neutering and microchipping are 2 other requirements. And I don't know if 6 months, can you alter a 6 month?
You can, and I should just point out that actually the law in Indiana is that they should be rabies vaccinated at 12 weeks, not 6 months.
Yeah.
So even if Petco is telling you that, I guess it's irrelevant to this discussion.
Yeah,
perhaps,
we're not,
but
yeah.
that's the-
So,
As far as the breed goes, they don't recommend that you spay or neuter before 2 years.
That's okay, that's actually what the breeders recommend, and that's a sort of a scientific and medical discussion.
Absolutely, it's a medical,
well, this is our
So that-
veterinarian right here. She's
Yeah.
a licensed.
and I know, yeah, because we talked to several of them for that reason,
Well,
it was stated.
I guess I don't want to go into big discussion about it probably, but what most of us agree is for that breed, we recommend 1 year. For most dogs, it's 6 months, and different vets may say different things, but most of the literature suggests 1 year for that breed.
Okay.
And the females before 8, am I correct on that, just since you're
For
at
8
that?
months, we still recommend before their first keep.
Where are we?
Sorry.
What I was saying was, if we determined that the dogs do satisfy the statutory requirements for being declared potentially dangerous level 2. The requirements on you guys would be the enclosure, microchipping, spaying and neutering at appropriate age, and if you take them off properly, that can age. You know, it's not, we're not taking the dogs, we're not putting them down. You know, it's just basically, it's a requirement on you guys to make certain that they don't get out again, essentially.
But that would be an option if something were further to happen at later date, and that's another level of this. So right now, no, that's absolutely right. There's no, no concern.
I have one more question, man.
But go ahead, like,
Since the chicken, did the owners want compensation for the chicken being killed, and how that, and
They did not say. They weren't real concerned about the chickens. I mean, they're chickens. So, I mean, you know, it's
And we did try to call and we just to see, you know.
Well, I did try to make contact and didn't receive any correspondence back, so I was gonna make it right, fix their coop, you know, whatever it took to ease the situation, but I never heard back from them, so.
Kenny, if anything further, we need to.
No, I was just
The ordinance.
gonna let you guys know what the ordinance definition is. This is County Code 440, 2017. Potentially dangerous level 2 is any animal which causes severe injury or death to a domestic pet or domestic livestock. Cut and dry.
if I'm allowed to, I'm just curious, because she's already gotten rid of her dog.
I have, but that's not a
Okay.
permanent, it depends on what happens here, is where I'm gonna go.
He's made improvements. If I can make a motion, if we're done talking, if you guys want to discuss this more.
I don't
know, if I mean, potentially dangerous, I'd like to, hold these for 3 months. If there's no other incidents, if this is also a first time for both, if there's no other incidents, dismiss it.
I will second that.
Okay, any discussion on the motion? Having heard none, we take a vote. I'm gonna start with Russell.
Oh, yes, yeah, aye.
Catherine,
I,
Valerie, Virgil. You want me to come back to you?
No, I'll vote in favor.
Okay, I can.
Nay.
Nay. We have 1 nay, and all the rest are aye. Motion carried as Russell stated. It will be, what did that, you held? Nothing further,
Held,
nothing,
90
nothing
days,
else. will be
it'll be
done.
held. If nothing happens in 90 days, the ticket goes away. If there is another incident, then the ticket comes back in court, or the,
There's no ticket.
well, there's no ticket actually.
We're being asked to consider potentially dangerous.
So in 90 days, if there's no incidents, then the incident's like it never happened.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, it's still on it could still be used if something were to happen again in the next 2 years. We're not putting a declaration on the animal
Okay,
right now. But if
okay.
there was an incident in 8 months,
Right.
this would be considered first incident, that one would be considered second,
Okay,
and would still be brought into the discussion.
Which could actually move them from potentially dangerous to something further.
right.
And that's where I was going with. but
Okay,
if
let-
that
can-
happen, if something goes bad happen in the time frame required.
So the biggest thing would be keeping them on your property. If they kill your chickens, your problem.
I know.
And as having 2 chicken killers, but I have them. Normally if they kill all the time. So if they're not killing your chickens, that's kind of what provides for me a little bit of a question
Right.
about. But you may find that they do, much just in that, you know, you have a situation where if they did get off, they had to work on something.
Okay. That's a decision. We will receive the information in full. As soon as we're able to have it given to you. Hopefully there'll be more trouble. If you have any further questions beyond that, you can call the legal office during their normal timeframe. Got what you need to got to go down.
Have you
And
considered?
so forth,
it
and we're
invisible
certainly
fence?
not the absolute end all, need to talk in legal.
Or a
Okay,
halo collar,
We're looking into that.
the halo collar could be in
The halo is.
Yeah.
because one, you would know where they are
Yeah.
immediately, but two,
GPS.
it would shock them if they were to leave your property.
Well, I had to put electric fence top and bottom of that 6 foot tall chain link just to keep them in there. So,
The only thing to consider regarding the invisible fence is if we do come back and we do declare PU2, the invisible fence is not permitted. It has to be a physical fence, not only to keep the dogs in, but to keep others out.
But
Dogs,
obviously,
children, you know.
but obviously, if you're using them to
Right.
protect your livestock, they don't do you any good.
Right, exactly, but I do, the halo system is something I would really like to.
and the whole reason that we got these dogs, obviously, as we stated before, was to be livestock guardians. And we had something came into our barn lot, and we believe it was a big cat and killed one of our goats. So,
is there any pre-K, you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting if you like, or you may leave.
I thank you.
All right, thank you. Good luck to you. I am going to maybe butcher the name, and I apologize. The name case of a habitual offender, and I'm pronouncing it Chunk. I do not know how it's pronounced. My apologies, like my name, you can't get it right. So we will be hearing that case. You want to read this, you? Just go ahead, sit down. I'll read it with you.
Nope, start.
Where do you go?
I'll give you a-
Okay,
There are before and after pictures, but the very end of the book is
Fencing.
the
Fencing.
finished product.
okay, keep coming back. Let me, yeah, I'm gonna come in. You're up again, this is the show. Oh, yeah, I apologize, I'm really sorry.
Yeah, so, this chick, she has a pot belly pig, I guess you would say, not yay big. And it tends to get out very often. We've had 6 instances just been reported within the last year.
And she's 7. Believe it or not. So this is a new thing. So
Okay.
she's a habitual offender. You'll see in the pictures, I spent $10,000 in built for a pepper-proof fence.
When was the last incident?
About 2 weeks ago, I would believe it was reported,
And when did the?
and
fence
this was
finish?
coming up.
And
I'm
we
not
finished
sure.
it yesterday.
So you just finished it yesterday? Okay.
Oh, you'll be really impressed. I'm pretty sure it's human proof.
Okay,
It's a big thing.
if you want to add more, you may do so, but I guess if there are any questions for Officer Ward. Either one of them.
So the request from officers to declare habitual offender due to multiple times being at large.
Yeah, 3 or more times in the last 2 years is all required to satisfy the code.
And you've
Two
taken
seconds.
some steps to make it not happen from this point on. So appreciate that.
This is speculation, but had this hearing occurred 90 days ago, before the fence had started, we probably would have asked you to build a fence.
Into it.
Probably.
Probably would have asked you to take steps necessary to keep the pig in, so you kind of anticipated where we
I
were.
knew where this was.
Yeah,
If you have
because
that.
just to jump ahead, if this body were to declare, we'd be declaring you an offender, not the pig.
Right.
You know, then we would have requirements on you to keep the pig from doing this in the future. You know, we could just fine you, we could, what could we do? We could take the pig away from you, or we could give you specific guidance as far as things you need to see to do. I expect we probably would have said, figure out a way to fence Peppa in, and keep her in there, and then show us that it's working over a period of time.
Right.
So the fence looks like, is it completed or is?
Well, the very end pictures are that it's completed.
Okay.
I have a little Yorkie, he's like 3 pounds, and so I'm not sure the pig. And we put concrete so she can't root under it. She's very smart.
That's what I'm gonna ask.
Yeah, it's all concrete, it's 3 feet deep, and we trenched it and put concrete down.
It's 3 feet below the frost line around here. I don't know how deep.
That's for roofing.
Thank you.
I would make
I'm
a,
just asking if for security.
I would make a motion that we hold the declaration in abeyance for 3 months. Let's see if it keeps Peppa
If it
in.
works, okay.
And if it does, then great. It all just goes away, and if not, then most likely it would be declared
Yeah.
habitual.
I have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Russell and Valerie. Any discussion? Not hearing any. We would take the call. Ken,
All those are-
Virgil,
Yes.
Yes.
Catherine, sorry, Valerie, Russell.
Aye.
No need, no extensions, so carried unanimously on the motion. That's all we have to do for you. If you have any questions about it, then you'll receive it. Thank you. Welcome to day. Tyler.
Taylor.
Sorry, it takes a while to get through cases. It could take a little time to get through these cases. Which one of you guys is officer?
Shannon Harden? Shannon Taylor. Taylor Harden. Harden Taylor. Cool, because on my sheet, I got Taylor on 11. So
Yeah.
I have to turn around.
Give us a moment. Well, she's coming up. Officer Winter, you're up.
I'm finding the date.
22nd.
It would have been the August or
June.
November. Okay, September 2020. Mr. Wiggles, that belongs to the Taylor Harden family, was deemed potentially dangerous level 2 for killing another dog. I was out in Steinsville on another call for a dog that I think was dumped out there. It wasn't approachable. I had a trap set for it. While trying to get the trap set, Mr. Wiggles was out and about running. I wasn't able to see the incident between the dogs, but I did hear the altercation between Mr. Wiggles and the last dog that is now here at the shelter. Due to the dog being deemed potentially dangerous level 2, it was impounded. It doesn't appear that Mr. Wiggles has been neutered, to my knowledge, doesn't have a microchip, but I think Candace, you said you were planning on getting him?
Yes.
Okay, and then that's kind of where we're at.
Okay.
So
question.
due to the habitual, or not, sorry, due to the potentially 2 declaration and there being, the dog being at large would put it into the request for the habitual offender.
So the request from the habitual offender is due to the failure to alter the dog being at large because it was declared PD2 previously.
Yes. That makes sense.
Back, no, it's fine. Back in November of 2020, the dog was declared potentially dangerous, level 2. At that time, it should have been required to be neutered.
I wasn't.
Microchip. I'm just gonna finish and then we can get to your side of the story. And then it should have been kept on leash every time it left the property. So because it was still declared and at large now, per the ordinance, those violations can then make it so that you could be deemed a habitual offender because of those violations. So that's what we're here to discuss today. I think I sum it up decent.
That's right.
Okay.
So habitual offender in the county means either you've got an animal that on 3 separate occasions in a 2-year period has broken the law. Or if the dog has been declared potentially dangerous or vicious and the owners haven't complied with the requirements of that declaration. So that's,
No communication, did not.
Understand. We'll figure that out. From where we're sitting and from where the officers are sitting, we have a declaration in December and we have the dog at large. So now we're trying to mitigate and figure out what happened.
I understand. I went to work.
I was gonna say, is there any other additional questions or anything else for Officer Winter?
Yes, I have one question for the officer. Between the declaration and this last incident, were there any other calls about the dog being at large or anything happening that?
So we've had multiple calls about different dogs in Steinsville. We've never received proof, but we've received multiple calls, and I know Steinsville as a town has talked about it, but they've never sent us pictures of Mr. Wiggles. So we've received unverifiable complaints.
Those complaints, several of those did refer to the dog by name and Shannon Taylor's dog. That I have no clue.
But
So I-
what's there?
And then I have another question. So do we have documentation that after the declaration? Okay.
There was a letter sent December 8th, 2020 via USPS and certified mail stating that the dog was removed deemed potentially dangerous with the,
I didn't understand what to do.
it says that they've enclosed a copy of the portion of the Monroe County Code which details the restrictions. It's written in it, and then they sent a highlighted copy of that section.
Okay.
And
Any
it
additional?
was sent by
Sorry.
Lee Baker.
So that's certified now.
Yes, USPS and certified.
Any-
And this is just a file copy that we will have.
So it looks like the county did their due diligence and possibly it was, I don't know what's going on, whether it's possible it was overlooked by the evidence. On their end.
Here's the thing about Mr. Wiggles. He snuck outside. I went to work and forgot to shut the door. He snuck out, and as soon as we realized he was gone, y'all were there.
I was cleaning house with my lovely stepkids at that point, and I was cleaning my mother's fan. He came up to me, kind of started staring at the fan like, what was I doing? He's a very curious dog. But then I told him to go lay down, and I guess he snuck around us because our house is basically a circle and shut the door. Every time I take him off the property, he is on a leash. We have a Chihuahua Jack Russell mix as well, and he does not hurt a hair on his head.
I heard they were taking off the property because I didn't know what the guidelines were. I didn't know what to expect.
The guidelines,
He's a house dog. He's a 120-pound house dog. He
the
got out. I'm sorry.
things we did get was that he had to be on a like 6-foot leash if he went off the
I
property.
didn't know he had to be chipped. I didn't know he had to be.
That he had to be in adult hands only. That he couldn't be in kids.
Right.
On the other end of the leash, right?
Right.
That's what I don't know.
But we weren't told that he had to be neutered or chipped. They recommended we neutered him, but they didn't tell us it had to be done.
That was probably the letter from Weaver County that has gone missing. They've got evidence that they nailed it and that it was delivered, but you don't have evidence that they received it. So they've got that, and we can't prove
Right.
negative. I can't say you got it.
Right.
But the post office and county legal has.
Well, our
evidence.
post office has been messing up anyway and sending everybody to mail.
Right, we've got the file copy. So let's fix this. Let's fix this. Let's fix this. You know.
Valerie has.
So it does have in here that they have to be on the property.
They are.
It has to be kept indoors, invisible fences are not permitted, the animal will only be off the guardian's owner's premises with a 6 foot in length, and it must be under the control of an adult, that it must be altered by a licensed veterinarian within 30 days, And then a licensed veterinarian certifies in writing that the animal is incapable of reproduction, or a licensed veterinarian certifies in writing that the altering the animal would be injurious to the
Now,
animal's
what
health.
about his age?
And the commission renders a determination that the alter is not required. The animal must be implanted with a microchip. So there were 5 things to do. It seems like we made it,
3 of them.
Yeah,
So Ms. Taylor, to your question about age, if the dog is of an age that is vet determines that neutering the dog will cause more injury to the dog, then we.
Well, I had him since he was 3.
But that would be between the owner and the vet. We would basically say the dog needs to be neutered, or there needs to be evidence from the veterinarian that the neutering would be
I
damaging.
agree.
okay, I did talk to one vet to get him neutered, because they thought it would calm him down and maybe shooting out the door. But they told me with his age, it's a very high chance that he's not gonna be able to be neutered.
We get that in writing, then that waives that.
I got him when he was 3 and 09.
He's 16 now.
Okay.
so yeah, so you would need, so
I
at
got
the
it
end of the
when-
day, because not all 5 of these were followed,
I
that's
know,
kind of the situation we're in.
I know,
So,
and I'm sorry.
so the,
We'll
but the other
figure out
challenge.
how to fix this.
I did buy him a 16 by 16 chain link kennel that I put in the side yard. I'm waiting on that to come in the mail.
We have ordered a
I've put
kennel,
up I put up baby gates, both front and back doors.
and he can jump those baby gates.
There any other additional questions?
I really like those.
Next determination.
So, we're not adding more declarations of punching the dog.
Mhm.
We're basically talking about, as owners, what can you guys
What
do?
can we
What
do?
what do we require?
What
you
can
guys
we do better
Essentially.
to eliminate said problem?
My plan is, as soon as we get him back with the money, I am gonna get him microchips. That was my goal. We just haven't had the money to do so. With bills and.
I want to,
dogs.
I'm poor, I'm disabled, bro.
Um,
Okay, so
Yeah, you're-
$15.
Honey, I ain't got 15 cents.
we're
Okay,
very,
I had to ask a Christian lady out of the blue to help get gas to get me.
right.
I'm trying,
We are gonna purchase a kennel to put it in the side yard. when
like I
we
said,
need
I
him to
bought
be
one that's 16 by 16, 6 foot high.
And the doghouse things to get him the outside thing he needs to run around and use the bathroom. He's an inside dog. He doesn't stay outside very long.
He goes outside the potty and he's right back in the house, curled up on
Unless-
my bed.
Unless it's a nice day, then we try to keep him on his chain in the backyard.
I'm about to cry. I'm really.
That when he came in, he should have had a harness on. That's what we started using on him because he kept slipping out from his collar.
When he's gotten in fights with other dogs, have you witnessed any of those?
No, I've only witnessed one,
Nope.
and that was when he was near the little dog and killed it. He was trying to play with the little dog, and the little dog didn't want to be left alone. Gave Biggin a warning and nipped at Biggin, and Biggin said no. I've asked for help to get Biggin off the little dog, and no one wanted to help me.
Everybody just stood around with a bunch of.
And then someone wanted to
dummies that Didn't
use,
know what was going on, like they didn't know what was going on, they didn't know what to do.
and
I know
someone,
that was got everybody stuck in the neck and say, big, no.
someone wanted to use a bear bottle on Biggin's head, someone threw a pop on it and just made the whole situation worse.
That's fine. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you both. Any additional last questions?
Do you think that, can you keep Mr. Wiggles, inside or in an enclosure or out of trouble for 90 days?
Yes,
I can.
Okay, since tonight seems to be the night of 90-day avances, I was thinking about how we can solve this. You still need to comply, even, we'll get you a written copy of what the requirements are for
Right.
PD2. We'll make sure you leave with that tonight.
Can I leave with my
Actually,
dog?
we can give them that letter, you know.
Can I leave with my dog?
I don't know.
Can I leave with my dog?
We haven't finished that discussion.
I don't get my
I
dog.
would appreciate
still-
that writing.
We're still discussing.
Second, please.
I would appreciate that writing, that's all I wanted to say.
Mr. Wiggles is here, Shelby.
Yes,
Sure.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Okay, where were we? You were discussing. Do I have anything else question wise or?
I'm done with questions. I'm willing to start discussion with.
Okay.
But Ken was started there. I thought he was on.
Well, I was thinking, I was gonna let, it was also, regarding, was here, Shepherd.
Are you, when you put a motion?
Well, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Please. you.
Discussion while you're
Yeah,
thinking.
yeah.
So, there's a lot of unknowns, but it's been a year, 9 months since the dog was declared for killing another dog. That's a long time not to have another dog fight or something with a dog that we've had issues being at large about.
Is that 10 years in dog years?
So, I mean, part of it, so, I mean, in some ways, there's a plus there.
I see.
So, and I think that should, I mean, when we're trying to think about where to go, I think that there's, yeah, we should take that into account.
I think, so what you're saying is based on what that incident and not having anything for so much longer,
Mhm.
the dog is not just prone to be vicious and start fights.
Right.
So we know that.
And with the PB2 declaration, there was the possibility of coming back within a year and having it wait.
Correct.
So, I mean, if that would have happened, we wouldn't be here.
Right.
But again, the dog should have been neutered at that time. So that's still something we need to discuss.
I'll get it done. I don't know how, but I will.
So you can contact the Humane Association. Don't they have
Well,
that?
Well, so the dog is here. So the dog's currently at the shelter. If we want to do a mandatory neuter, so if the dog is 16 years old, that's getting up there. There is some serious questions of whether. we
I
should
got
do it.
him, he was 3. when I got him.
But the dog is here, and so we have the ability to spay, neuter, microchip, work with you on a payment plan before the dog's released. That is within what we have before it's something we do.
And that's completely fine. I just want to know I'm getting my baby boy back.
You would get it back, just might not today.
Right.
Yeah, because.
Just the
what
fact that I
Virgil's
know
paying-
for
yes.
heart that I'm getting him back would be.
But one thing to think about is that right now, there's a really long waiting time for a lot of vets to get procedures done. So if the commission is saying that there's a short
Right.
time, which you need either the signature or the mandatory degree to be done,
Mhm.
it's actually really helpful if Virgil is suggesting that maybe it could be done sooner than that time.
As soon as I can get him, I mean, I can try to get it done. My mom's got the money right now to have it.
So what Virgil is saying is before he's released
Mhm.
back to you,
How
that
much is it?
the shelter would
How much is it?
work on the procedure to have him microchipped and to
How
have
much
him
is it?
neutered. And then can work a payment plan out with you if necessary in
Mhm.
order to get that.
That's fine.
So I guess the timeline, what is the timeline potentially on the microchip and the neuter?
I mean, I can't
I've heard
confirm
kids like
anything,
that.
but it's possible I can get it scheduled tomorrow.
And the vet would come in and check that dog out to see. if
Well,
he gets neutered or not.
That's a bit of the holdup is, with the vets we use, it's a mass process, so they don't have time to do a thorough evaluation. So, I mean, will they catch it? I mean, they do a decent, so if there's anything obvious, they would catch, but there's a chance that they would err on the side of neutering. It's just gonna be upfront. That's where they're at, that's the issues they deal with.
Okay, thank you. everyone.
I'm not 100% sure on his age. All I know is the people I got him from were mean to him and he was very abusive to this poor little dog. And when I got him, they said he was 3. I got him in 09. It's 22.
So you're guessing 16.
I'm guessing 14, 16 years of age.
at this
Well,
point.
and he's already got gray hair on his
muzzle.
muzzle,
It would actually just be up to the vet. that
Right.
vet's examining.
which is fine. Yeah.
I think what we're closing in on here is returning Mr. Wiggles to you after he's microchipped and possibly neutered, depending on what the vet says. Which could be,
Well,
that's what I think.
By the
So-
end, by the end.
so the other question I have for us as a discussion is whether, I mean, again, we still have a dog that's been at large, though we haven't confirmed it, it's likely this dog's been at large multiple times. So there's still a habitual offender.
Right.
I mean, we don't have that as, the multiple at large, we don't have to go by as possibly the main issue to be a habitual offender, but we do have the violation before us. And I'm going back and forth on what to do with that.
Why would be, let's do it this way, but Russell, what's your opinion at this point?
Well, I was wondering if we could, go ahead and declare the dog habitual, waive the fee,
The owner.
waive the fee, and then go ahead and set everything, dog be released as soon as animal shelter here gets the two main things done, we had to either neuter or not neutering and then microchip. And that would be up to the animal shelter here's timeline. I mean, we.
Right, and I'm totally down with that. Okay.
The question I had is if you could get him Neutered, I could bring him back in and get chipped as soon as I get paid.
But we can do that here.
Okay.
We have all that.
They'll work it out with you too, so.
Yep.
The money's not an
So
issue.
the only challenge that comes from this, as I can see, correct me if I'm wrong.
If you wouldn't mind, we're just trying to get through, now it's to discuss it, if you have further questions, okay, but we need to get through the discussion. So Valerie, I didn't
So the
know
question
that
would be that if we go this route and the dog is at large again, whether it's neutered or not neutered, I'm not really so worried about that it's out running and reproducing at 16. But if it were to hurt something again,
I would surrender it.
then I think my only question is, with the habitual offender side, I do think we need to attach something to it.
The behavioral alignment or.
So if it were to get, and I guess there's varying levels. I mean, obviously, if Mr. Wiggles gets loose again, but doesn't do anything is one thing, but if it gets loose again, starts a fight, does kill something, then that would be a whole nother type of discussion. I agree with you, though, that it's been a really long time, so it's probably not very likely. Chances are it's gonna get loose again.
Mhm.
So if that is the case, then do we just go into an at-large and we move, and we just start that process? Or does it build upon a case or not? Because because that's a big difference. If it builds upon a case, it's gonna be very expensive. If we're willing to start from ground zero because the dog has not done anything of that magnitude again, that's what I'm just throwing out to you all, of where to think about it.
Well, I was just wondering if we could add something about going to recheck to see if the 16-foot dog run has been, even though we don't usually add it to this type of case, has been installed in a certain period of time.
It's not 16 foot, it's 16 by 16 by 6 foot.
Okay, by 16 by 6 foot, but some sort of, I know we don't usually do that, but.
Sure. So the question would be is, once you receive your fence for confirmation that you have it up and that it is escape proof. Because the challenge you run into is just how you said, he just slipped around behind us, blah, blah, blah. That excuse will only go so many times.
I know.
Because at the end of the day, it's your responsibility.
I know, and I completely blame myself that he got out. I
And if
should have taken him out, and I was.
And if you're putting baby gates up and you can jump over them, then obviously that's not a solution.
Have you not seen him?
So I know.
He's like freaking hell.
So that's where this comes back and can get you a little bit is, you could end up here with a fine just because of the habitual side. The fact that you have ordered the fence and you're trying is that appeals a lot to this commission, always does. You're moving forward, you're trying to correct the problem. But I think, do you know when your fence is supposed to arrive?
First of the month.
First of the month? Okay.
For about
So the
2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah, so the challenge you have is even if he gets microchipped, even if we figure out spay neuter or spay and neuter or not, you have to keep him so secure.
I understand, and I
that
will,
fence gets-
because I will not let him out, I will not let him out the house. I won't let him off the lead. He ran around with it on his neck for one angry. I just, no, I ain't done it. I can't do this. I'm emotional wreck.
so.
About to lose my mind.
You guys got to work together, and if there's any kids involved, it might be.
I ain't got any kids. All my kids are grown. That is my kid.
Cool. One other thing is after.
How do I make
after the
him
fence-
an EMD dog?
After the fence is.
Or an ESD dog?
He's probably a little too old.
But he's my emotional support dog.
Well, But his ESDs and non-ESDs still have the same requirements.
Yeah, it wouldn't change anything in this particular
I'm
situation.
just asking.
Once the
Because I want
fence
to
is.
Like I want him to get it fast.
You know, so once the fence is installed, if it'd be okay with you guys, we could possibly have one of our ACOs come out and take a look at it and see if it's secure enough, or if they have recommendations as far as.
It's got a floor in there, man. It's got a floor in it. It's transportable.
We want to make certain, we want to do everything we can to make certain that we're not hearing it. Yeah.
And I understand that.
Okay.
Okay, so we need a motion. So
Yeah,
let's think of something here.
Yeah, thank you, Darlene. Anyone have a suggested motion?
Okay, we have given them a copy of what the requirements for PZ2 were. So I believe the motion should reiterate that those requirements are still incumbent upon them, and we still have to satisfy those. And give them a reasonable amount of time. I'm not gonna go home right now and fix it, but give them a reasonable amount of time to bring it into under control. That the dog, here's a motion, here's my motion. That we're being asked to consider habitual offender. I would hold that for 90 days to give them an opportunity to satisfy all the PD2 requirements and to demonstrate that the dog does not go at large during the next 90 days. If that occurs, then at this point, we are not going to be considering an habitual offender declaration. If that does occur, then we will come back and probably declare habitual and put requirements on them. Possibly, but hopefully not including voiding ownership. But that's an option. In the meantime, the dog would be undergo its medical procedures here, definitely microchip, possibly neutering, and after which the dog would be returned to you guys. That's my motion. I'm sticking to it.
The timeline would be up to the animal shelter.
Yeah, the return date would be determined by the health of the animal following the procedure.
I'll second that.
What version am I on? Yeah, you know,
Well, I'm also trying to figure out what to do with the potentially dangerous level 2. So,
we need to.
Enclosure, microchip,
right, but
leash, neuter. What else is there?
so the question is, would we hear in July a request to get PD2 removed? Or do we need to add to it that we would not hear another request for removal for a year from this date?
When was?
Because it's been 21 months since
It's been a-
almost since it happened. I mean, I like having the mandatory neuter, I like having the mandatory microchip as a way to hold the habitual offender in abeyance, and using that as part of it to get, kind of resolving the issue that led to this point. I think I agree with that. My question is just, what do we do with that potential dangerous too?
Have we, I hate to go procedural, but have we received an appeal
We have
to remove PD2 declaration?
No.
So I don't think we have anything to act on. We can encourage,
Well, I would say
I don't know.
a possible amendment would be to say that we would not hear an appeal for 12 months from today.
Okay.
when was the at-large? incident?
Oh, we do it from that day, yeah.
April 5th, April 25th?
No.
June
22nd.
Okay, so I'd be okay with that, I would go 12 months from the last at-large.
From last at large,
So we have to establish 12 months of spotless behavior,
yeah,
you know, and then
and then we can hear to have that removed and.
get rid of PD2.
Mhm.
I'm okay with that. So amended. So the motion, that can restate the motion, it's to
Withdraw the original.
I'll withdraw the original motion and restate a new motion, which is to brain fog is kicking in. This is awesome. Sorry. Satisfy the requirements of the original PD2 declaration. Microchipping and possible neutering at the shelter with the dogs being returned to the owners after medically cleared to do so, which should be soon. And 90-day advance on consideration of eventual defender. And reconsideration of PD2 no sooner than June of next year.
Dog was brought
Give
in,
him
brought
a
in.
lie.
Yes, so the last part is reconsideration of PD2 no sooner than June of 2023.
I'll second.
Go ahead.
I'll second.
Any further discussion on the current motion on the table? Okay. Ken,
I like it.
I like it.
me, Matt,
Aye.
Virgil,
Yes.
Valerie,
Yes.
Catherine,
Yes.
Russell.
Aye.
Unanimous on the motion that it's been presented. Of course, you'll have all the information you need regarding all this. If you don't have, what you don't, I'm sorry.
And I copy of the they said the same, so we've got.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I we have a copy.
And then you guys will coordinate with the animal shelter as far as when the dog will be, I'm sorry. It's your job, go for it, my bad.
Coordinate whatever you need to, and if you have any other further additional questions, that you call the shelter, call them, if there's any issue, call legal for what you need from them. And good luck to you, hope everything works out just fine.
Thank you guys so much.
Sorry, it takes a little complicated when this kind of situation.
So to do the reconsideration in a year, all you have to do is write a letter to county legal saying you want it to be heard.
Yeah, well, I can't act, so I can read it. How about that, you like this, yeah, and
Okay,
she can't spell.
we'll figure it out. Call us in a year, how about that?
That
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it
I'm
out.
sorry.
You're okay.
I'm sorry.
Emotions get to happen.
I'm sorry.
Thank you very much.
I got a question. Is there, what do I have to do to do community service?
We can talk about that tomorrow.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Already, because I definitely need, I got 14 and a half hours I need to get done like ASAP, and I'm in like yesterday. The dog's on probation, I'm on probation.
Not at all.
Thank you very
We're
much.
all bad people.
Thank you so much. Sorry to allow you. Okay.
I have a question.
Miss Winter? Next Friday, today, we're going to tomorrow, you know?
You too.
I planning on it.
Rabies vaccinations for 6 months. Is that actually-
Sorry.
I'm not sure who that would be, so it's not that.
Do you want to-
So
You don't
it's
need to
whatever
worry.
the visiting
Yeah.
clinic vaccination clinic will be. So I'm not.
Guys, are we-
Sure.
We're
So a
still
lot of
going.
people just drop
We're
it.
still doing
I'm not on it.
So I don't know.
That would be rough.
Oh, that one.
You should tell her.
The officers are up first on reports. Anything you guys need? I have a report. Sheriff's office? Thank you. Shelter. I got out of order, I apologize.
That's quite all right. We are packed full. We're like other shelters across the nation are in a kind of a bind with lots of animals in our system. We currently have dogs housed in offices and bathrooms and every other open space. We are drastically reducing our adoption fees all month of July to try to get them out the door. Yeah, it's largely driven by need to rehome animals.
Has that occurred to this level before? You've been,
Well, yeah, I mean, it has been the same before, but it's been a while since we've been
okay,
here.
that's what I wondered. Thank you, I appreciate that. Legal, Lee, you have anything for us?
No,
What?
I don't have anything. Thank you.
Okay, is there any other questions that we need to discuss for the board goes other than, the only other thing we have is the ordinance updating, Valerie just said there's nothing there.
Well, no, Russell has, you want to do the proposal?
Sure. Virgil and I talked, in, Lee, what's her name? Sue.
Sue.
We did have a Zoom meeting Thursday about, we had no one participating from Ellisville, which is kind of biggie because they have their own set of guidelines and rules that go through their planning, which is weird. And so that's weird because couldn't anybody there to join in our meeting, our Zoom meeting. So we thought on our slow days here, our meetings, we could take one or two of these topics and try to hammer them out after a meeting, after we dispose of what we got going on, and then try to go in and get one or two of these done at the end of the meeting.
So as far as, based on where the previous city county committee was at, and then what we discussed, there's only a very few ordinances that would agree between the two. And most of those are pretty much set in stone. So with Valerie serving on both commissions and me serving on this commission and being staff on the other commission, with those very few things, if we just kind of start our ordinance here and do it piece by piece, we can, between us overshadowing, bring those together if needed. Was the proposal where we kind of go forward. So maybe in July, we can look at starting with a section and knock it out and go from there.
Okay, and then the only other,
August,
Right?
oh my goodness. Yes,
the only
yes.
the only other thing that came up in reading through the minutes was Kim summarized that Ms. Reynolds was declared a visual offender, but no action was taken. And then William asked if she would have to pay fine before reclaiming the virtual answer to fine. Could be discussed in next AMC meeting. Could be present. Is there anything we need to discuss with that, or are we cleared up on that question? This is last June meeting. Yeah,
There was nothing that was brought forward for that.
okay. I was just reading from it, and that's why I'm bringing it up. I apologize for the issue. You
What was
know.
it?
What
was it for?
Ms. Brent was declared a visual offender, but no action was taken. And then William asked, this is the part, William asked if she would have to pay before reclaiming him, and virtual answer to fine could be discussed at the next AMC meeting when legal was present. So you don't have anything we need to, okay,
I think we just wait until it really comes back and discuss it then.
okay, it's fine, just to make sure we don't miss something that we needed to have for some, for any reason.
No, there was, I mean, the fines, we didn't move to remove any of the fines or anything.
So I just,
And the owner's not present, so.
I understand, I'm just trying to clarify
Sure.
what I was reading. It's been long enough since. Okay,
So for August meeting, I think Virgil and I can talk maybe and just we try to pick out one, two topics. And then I also like to put a motion out that the meetings don't last no longer than 2 hours.
I would vote no, unless you move it down to an hour.
You can do, we gotta deal with it.
Yes, we should definitely, when we do the ordinance, we should keep time and not let, we can get into the weeds doing ordinance discussions. We should not use it as a time to break the meetings out.
That's fine, I'm just.
I totally agree.
I don't have, I do not have anything else, and there is no public comment.
Are roosters being considered in the county ordinance?
No.
The record, I didn't know it was gonna go on the record last month when I asked about the roosters. My rooster's gone, by the way. Just stopped, it just went away,
Who?
Problem solved.
yeah.
Problem solved.
Okay, Ken, thank you. So,
All right.
there is nothing else, I move to adjourn.
All right,
Second,
thank you.
Okay, thank you, everybody, we'll see you next time around.
Virgil, regarding the Taylor medical stuff coming up.
I made it.
I am really responsible.